Hello gardening friends, it is April and time for my April garden tour. So we are having a super early spring this year. I already got tomatoes planted out, but I think the star of the month is still going to be my elderberries that I just planted a couple months ago. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what's growing. Alright, here's the lower end of the garden. I've got a lot of arugula that has gone to seed. If I let one or two plants of these produce seed, I'll have tons of seed, but I can still eat the leaves off of these. On the bottom there's still leaves that are a little strong, but they're not too bad. They're just sort of spicy. I did throw some arugula seed down here, so these are new plants that are just starting right here. Look at the way that comfrey's taken off since last month. And there's some garlic. I've been pulling that garlic up, and since this is sort of just a volunteer plant, I think I left a whole clove under there the way it looks. I've been pulling that up and using it to cook fresh. It looks just like a spring onion when you pull it up that young. There's some more garlic over here. I did plant a couple over here that didn't come up very well, it looks like. But yeah, there's a lot of arugula coming up all through here. I threw a lot of seed. So there's my onions that I planted from the bulbs. Let me get back here. I also put my potatoes in already. Put my potatoes down, and then I put some wood chips on top. I think I did a video on that, I believe. I don't remember if I published it or not. Here are some potatoes that are starting to come through. The seeds that I had sprouts coming up a bit. Here's some volunteer potatoes as well. This is a pomegranate that is starting to leaf out in the springtime. Some red Russian kale over there. This is a peach tree that I planted. Actually, I didn't plant it. It's a volunteer as well. And it has, if you look right here, there's a little baby peach. There's a few peaches on it. Not a huge amount of peaches. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it and see if the peaches are good. If they're not good, I might just cut this tree down, since it is sort of in the middle of my garden. And it's shading my blackberry plant there. Look at all those blooms on that blackberry. Alright, I've got some tromboncino planted here. I put a little plastic container over it to keep the moisture in and to keep the rabbits from digging. I'm having a little trouble with my wife's rabbit, which she lets run around in my garden freely. Keep telling her I have sprouts out here. If he eats one of those sprouts, I'm not going to have a plant for the rest of that plant's life. It will be gone. This plant here is my goji berry. It's really bushed out. It's bushed out and taken over this whole area, really. And it has sprouts that have gone far away from the mother plant too, and are coming up and doing really well. So they're really doing well. Here's a fig tree that's leafed out. This is my J.H. Adriatic, which did really well last year. There's some more garlic. Don't remember if I planted that or not. Here's my moringa tree that I planted last year, and it grew. And I covered this year a little bit, hoping that it might sprout out from the roots. If not, I have seeds started. This is cilantro. It's going to seed. I really should probably harvest this and put it in freezer bags. I had some J.H. Adriatic just started here last year, and I covered them with a bucket, and you can see they have sprouts on them. It looks like they're gonna come to life this spring. They were just barely started last year. Here's my main area that I have my garlic in. And the garlic's starting to take off now. This is some sorrel. It's got like a sour flavor to it. Here's some broccoli. Need to pick that. You see it's sort of gone flowering. It still has little florets that you can take and eat. This is another peach tree that volunteered. And I don't even see any peaches on this. But I did cut it back quite a bit. That could have stunted its growth a bit. So I don't know if I'm going to leave this or cut it down. I did put a whole bunch of onion sets in the ground. You can buy these at the store if you haven't grown them from seed. I meant to grow them from seed over the winter, but I didn't get around to it. So these I just put in yesterday and watered them in, so they should be ready to start taking off. And these will make the onions with the regular bulbs. This is mock, I believe. It's like a little green, M-A-C-H. It seems like it likes to bolt really quickly here, so it has a short period of time to be able to harvest it. I put a whole bunch of sugar peas. I put a row here right under my my cattle panel trellis. And then I just scattered a whole bunch out in here too, which I could harvest as like microgreens when they get in chaw or so, but also give something for the rabbit to eat before he gets to my main row. Okay, here's some more cilantro. There's my worm pit with rabbit bedding over it. Look at this, I planted a tomato here, climbing triple crop, which I planted, and I'm gonna just tie it up this tree, which might be a pecan tree, I'm not sure. I think that might have come up from a pecan seed that I planted. Trying a little bit of a graft, just for fun. I did this one because this tree didn't produce much last year, so I pruned a JH Adriatic on here. It almost looks like it's starting to bud out here, right at the top here. So we'll see. I'm hoping that graft's going to take. And over here, I got a little tiny bud of a Deanna fig, which is a big fig. I don't know that it's good for this area, but it's my daughter's name, so I had to try it. Yeah, look how I trimmed this fig tree down. It is sprouting out nicely though. I've got some other fig starts over here just from shoving some sticks in the ground. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this one's tall. 5, 6 starts right there. So that's just from shoving sticks in the ground from this tree over here. I think I did it actually 2 years ago, so those are 2-year-old little seedlings, which I could go ahead and graft a known variety onto that rootstock, and it would probably have a nice head start. Okay, this area of my garden is quite overgrown, but it does have some food in here. I just need to cut down some of this, maybe chop and drop. Got some wild clover in here. Chop and drop and get ready to put some crops in between. But this is Premier Kale, like this, because it's got such a flat leaf. Got some red Russian here going to seed. Got a lot of red Russian through here going to seed. Looks like a little rabbit trail right here. We have had some baby bunnies hopping around the yard too. Here is some catnip. Some onions and garlic up here that I gotta pull out of the weeds. These weeds pull out pretty easily because this is wood chips underneath here. And I wouldn't even have all these weeds except I haven't been very diligent with getting wood chips on top of my garden. But as you can see, got wood chips there. It's just not a very thick layer because they've all decomposed and composted down into the soil. So I just need to come through here and just pull these out like this and then put another layer of wood chips on top. And it'll be good to go again. Oh, did I mention that this is a blackberry plant right here? Look at all those blooms on that blackberry. They are taking off. So let's see, let's go around and look at my persimmon tree. It's my persimmon tree. Starting to bud out. And over here is this is Stark Brothers Grand Gala apple tree. It's got some blooms on. They're very pretty blooms. I took a picture and posted it on my Instagram. It's a radish, that daikon radish that I have been saying I'm going to harvest the last 3 months that I still haven't harvested. Might be too late by now. Let's take a look at it. Because the way it's going to seed, I don't know if it's going to be very good. Well, I don't know. It still looks pretty good down there. Look at that. Wonder how much is in the ground. I'm going to have to harvest that. There's some more volunteer potatoes. Might have to let those grow. See what happens with those. There's some Swiss chard. It's a nice looking Swiss chard plant. Alright, I got a double back here. Show you some things. There's my bloody dock. Just starting to sprout out nicely from the winter. Some more onions here. Was my fall crop, now it's my spring crop area. And a lot of this is for rabbit food. Because I got some kale in here, which is an Italian kale. Those over there are dandelion that I planted from seed. Here's some radishes. I believe these are French breakfast. I know there's a couple rows of radishes. I think might be some lettuce coming up here. But there's a couple rows of radish. I know I have a French breakfast row in here somewhere. And I also have some carrots here. See those little tiny carrots are really tiny. Planted those probably 2 weeks ago. Pretty sure it was 2 weeks. It might only be 1 week, but I think it's 2 weeks. Carrots take a long time to sprout. And I did cover those with a board to keep the moisture in until I saw some of them sprouting. But yeah, you can see them all along that little short row there. There's carrots coming up. So hopefully we get a crop of carrots there. Again, if the rabbit doesn't chew off the tops. Oh, one other thing I was going to show you over here is the strawberry bed. If you remember, I covered it with wood chips when it was in the middle of winter. We're getting a lot of blooms now. We're getting blooms. And we already have strawberries starting to form. So we're going to have strawberries pretty soon. They call them June bearing, but here in the south, they will bear a lot quicker than June. I guess they call them June for up north, because here they're probably May, and it looks like down here we'll probably get some in April this year because we're having such a super early spring. Let me show you my butterfly garden. Has some flowers already blooming. That might be a nice little picture for the thumbnail. Go ahead and take a picture of that for the thumbnail. Alright, so let's go on the other side of the yard here and look at our elderberries. These things are really going to town. So I only planted these a couple months ago. You can look back and see the video to see when I did plant them. But look at that, it sprouted out from the roots all around. It's got sprouts coming up. I really wasn't expecting to get a harvest this year, but the way they're growing, I wouldn't be surprised if we'll get some harvest. So that's one plant. You need 2 plants to be able to have them cross-pollinate. Here's another plant. This one's tall, but it has sprouts coming out from the bottom as well. And there's a tomato coming out from the bottom too. So it's nice to have a little volunteer tomato. Alright, I'll go ahead and put end screens up here. Link to my most popular videos. Link to one that YouTube says you will like. Also have a toilet paper video that I'm in the process of editing it. And how to grow toilet paper. So make sure you look for that one too. If you're not subscribed, you're going to want to subscribe and click that bell so you get notified. Especially for that toilet paper video. I think that's something that we all need in these times when they've cleaned the toilet paper off the shelves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys like that video. Alright, have a blessed day. I'll see you again real soon.